Hey you! Are you tired of drawing all your characters in the same poses again and again like this? Do you want to make them any better or do you just want to stay like that? Well, today I'm gonna show you something else too. Well, yes, today I'm gonna be teaching you to get to that level. But you're not gonna get to the level that I am in because that requires a lot of practice. But you're gonna be able to make your posts dynamic like that. I actually got to this level of dynamism after I learnt about this one thing called rhythms. And that's what I'm gonna take to teaching you right in this video. And you can also call this gesture, but most people I've seen, they call it rhythms. So I'm gonna teach that to you right here, right now, in 3, 2, and 1. Boom. How you can actually get that. So what is a dynamic pose is the first question you have in your mind, right? Like many people have a lot of different definitions for everything. So let's settle on one for starters. So if you really think about it, a pose is quite literally a person standing or posing. So first, you need to know the person three-dimensionally to actually use posing. So let's just say that's this guy over here. There are two ways of making this one man dynamic. One is to show him in a very dynamic perspective. That's that. Like I could show him in that manner. And the other method is to essentially draw him up in a dynamic pose. So you have two different options. One is to use a perspective grid and embed your characters in that. This is called foreshortening, what I did here. So how do you foreshorten? Well, if you haven't seen my previous videos, here this explanation is for you, buddy. So imagine there is this one bandana in front of you. Look at this pattern, okay? This triangle pattern. Now imagine you were holding it up in a different angle and ask yourself, does the pattern change? No, the pattern does not. So as a result of this one triangle over here, like the frontmost one, it's bigger than the triangles in the back, right? So what do you have to think about now? When you go further back, the things on the back are smaller than the things that are comparatively to the front. So say I want to draw a face of a person. So this is his face up front. Let's just get that out of the way. Say I want to draw him from top down, okay? So this is going to be something like a shoulder. And what we do right now is we draw the torso. The torso, there is not much change because it is quite close to the camera. But we can still show a level of dynamism within that too, like this. And now what we can do is the stomach part, it also contracts. So this will be his upper body. And when you go lower and lower and lower, the effect gets more and more. So this would essentially be his lower body. This is how it would look. And you can actually implement this in the forward direction too. Like, I want to show his hands reaching out, let's just say. If you're like drawing this with me and you think to yourself, bro, I'm really shit at this. Everybody starts at shit. You have to work on it. Like, even my foreshortening isn't that great compared to the Marvel artists, but hahaha. I'll still work on it. Look at this. this is a foreshortened image, and I think you can see the difference between this and a non-foreshortened image. So for a hand as well, that is foreshortened on the other side, and voila, this is one way of making shit look more dynamic. I actually even messed that up. Wait, look at this. It's not even supposed to be that small. It's supposed to be even smaller. Look here now. This is the actual foreshortening effect. So what you have to think about is how close is the hand to the camera and how close are the other things. Think about his body like a bandana. Like, let me just take that perspective, lay it down in front of you, and we're gonna look at the same pattern again and again. You can use the pattern as a reference for where different shapes go. Like triangle 1 houses his hand, so that's big. Triangle 2 houses his head, that's just nearly the same size as his hand. And triangle 3 houses his somewhat of a torso and his legs. Like triangle 2 and triangle 3 house legs and torso. The legs are bigger than the torso, so this is correct. So that's how you can develop your foreshortening intuition. And yeah, that was with foreshortening. And there's another technique, which is actually making the post dynamic. And you can use these two things together, like actually dynamic poses. Let me show you now. Actually dynamic shit. Let's not say shit. Stuff. Okay? What do you do now? Well, it's actually quite easy. So, what is a dynamic pose? Well, it's something that looks like it's pointing somewhere, right? That's why this looked dynamic, although he wasn't really doing anything with his body. Because the pose is pointing here. And if your pose points somewhere, like if it goes this way, then there is a level of action in it. What do you do that then? You use this line of action to actually show the pointingness, and then you draw over it. Like, take a look at this, bro. You don't have to make your poses look this much advanced, but I'd say go for it. Try. If you frick up and find out, you'll learn a lot of things. So that's that. So look at the dynamicness in this pose. Is it okay? Well, I'd only say it's okay because it can be even pushed more to the different extremes. Let me actually show you those extremes. So without the line of action too, you can do the leading to the action part. It is actually quite easy to do that then too. Let me draw something smaller. The canvas won't allow me to show you the whole thing if I do the big thing. So let's just say we're adding foreshortening into the equation as well, yet again. So he has a sword or a shield in one hand. Let's just give him a shield over here. And let me give him a sword now. Nah, this ain't pointing nowhere. Let's actually use the hilt properly too. This is like one of those sabers, I'd say. This is a little bit of a dynamic pose, but not much. And this one too is a very fluid pose, because the action points somewhere, and the action here too would point somewhere, but in a more complex way. So what you're supposed to think about when you're making these is how the character's body parts interact with the world. And this is also called gestural drawing, bro. Like, there is a flow in each line that leads somewhere else. Like, say I made this. And let me just say he's handing a rose to some woman. Never mind the hand size. The action actually now clearly points towards one direction, but I have not used the line of action here. So you can use it without the line of action. One thing you have to remember is the pose points to the action. Like say there is this guy who boxes. Let's just say for an example. And we're gonna take his pose right here. So these are his two arms. And that's one of his legs. And that's another of his legs. So right now, the action goes in like this. So it's pointing towards his hidden fist that's going to smack somebody into their demise, hopefully. And yeah, that is how you point to the action. Each line points to the action. That's what I've written, points, instead of saying each line will point to the action. Yeah, that's also correct. Okay, so that was basically dynamic poses. You learned all of that in 11 minutes. And today you can take some practice time and implement all of this. This thing is called drawing gesturally, and you're not worried about the structure of each object. You're just more worried about the flow in each image, and you can try pointing different shapes into different places and try using that bandana example to compare your stuff to the actual stuff. Or you can actually use this. Repeat the same line without changing the angle again and again, and you'll get like 3 boxes, bro. You can use these 3 boxes and you can compare them, like 1, 2 and 3. I've made a mistake, look there. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching this video. If you learned something, click on the next video, because you might learn a lot more things that too. And there is more in this playlist that's in front of you. So if you may as well check those things out, because all of them have the same level of quality as this one, and all of them teach you the same amount as this one. Bye. That dynamic drawing that I taught you earlier, right? All of that you can apply to non-human objects as well. So if you foreshorten anything, let me just say a katana, like that, it's still gonna have the same effect as you did with a human being. And if you wanna apply flow, actually dynamic stuff, or rhythms to something that is also not like that, and you draw very gesturally means just this flowy line, and that also happens to work out. You can also draw other objects or living creatures or non-living creatures with it. That's all I had to say. And yep. And yes, brother, that was mostly it. And today I'd like to personally thank you for watching this video. And also, the next thing is, if you want to learn more things just like this concept of rhythms, and you want to learn basic human anatomy and all of this, there is a playlist that's shown right on screen as of the moment that you can learn from by clicking on it. There's a lot of fundamentals videos inside of that. And thank you for watching this one. And here's a really good bro fist that I drew for you. Bro fist.